Margaret Lascairn Corla. Minister, thank you for your opening speech a while ago. Thank you for your honesty. Sometimes we come in here and we can have a fairly heated debate, but when progress of any kind is going to be made, it has to be welcome. I suppose it'd be remiss of me if we didn't congratulate Minister Helen McEntee on the birth of her baby boy this morning, so congratulations on that. Minister, I just wanted to touch back to the surge requirements for mental health hospitals and the capacity and the 13.5 million that you're going to, additional money that's going to be allocated for that specific purpose. I do welcome it. I do welcome the fact that the investigation in CAMS is going ahead. But I want to go back to a little thing here. While I suppose we had WikiLeaks, now we have AirLeaks when it comes to some kind of good news regarding lockdowns coming out. We still have families in desperate trouble. And I spoke to two specific families yesterday. Again, I asked them for permission to use their cases just to highlight what's actually happening with COVID and isolation. And a specific, I suppose, on families are in desperate need. Older people have never been so isolated, so obviously there's a knock-on effect of that. And people with disability practically been written off. One specific case that I want to bring up is, obviously I edited it, says Mrs X is a carer for her 81-year-old mother for a number of years now. She also has a brother in her 50s who was in appropriate daycare 5 days a week, but when COVID came in, that closed down. She took it on herself to take the caring responsibilities for her brother as well. After a number of months, she wrote to the department, inquiring more than anything to see would she actually be entitled to any additional financial or physical supports. Unfortunately, what happened there was the department wrote back to her and actually docked her €34 a week from her payment for looking after her mother. So you can imagine the stress that's after doing when people are pinned to their collar trying to do the best that they can. My second case involves a family where they have a child who has a severe autism, but they have received no respite care since COVID, no speech and language therapy, no supports basically whatsoever. They're taking it on shifts. The husband normally maybe gets 3 hours a night's sleep. I spoke to him, I said, look, we can bring it directly to a minister or whatever, but he said it's not fair. He wants on the point and principle that people in this particular situation, where there is many families that he knows in the same situation and sometimes worse, that we should all be treated fairly. He wanted me to bring that to the floor today. He said he also met with a couple of his friends that have similar situations last weekend, and he said they started a conversation but they had to stop because it was so depressing, because unfortunately some of these parents were not strong enough and have actually decided that they took their own life basically. So the pressures are enormous on it. He said, we are still here to help where others have found it too much. Who have taken their own lives, they could not cope. He told me this was the conversation we had with some friends not too long ago. He said, he told me that the conversation with his friends had to stop because it was getting so depressing. And these were his words, not mine. So what I'll say to the Minister in a very short time, I welcome any progression when it comes to mental health and services. But let's not forget anybody in this. Remember, when we come out of COVID, we're still going to have a health problem, a mental health problem, a housing problem.
Thank you, Deputy.
People losing their jobs, disability services. So let's plan for the future. Thank you.